Hello, everybody. Once again, I'm Liam Crafton Jr., aka Zorvalchan, Less Than Guru, and today I'm going to talk about my goblins. I kind of combined some of the hobgoblin specs into just the goblins. So my hobgoblins are an offshoot or a subspecies of goblins. And instead of having a random chance for being the more mystical cobbler, I have what I call the Gobbo-Faeries. And how they do it is they give up one of their attribute dice. They remove a die, and then they so you determine that first. You determine if you want to be a Gobbo-Fairy. If you want to be a hobgoblin, then you determine that also first, and you go with their dice. So my goblins are another small species at a D4. They're similar to the Gelfkin, just a little bit shorter than the Gelfkin at 3 foot to 3'8". Attributes: IQ, not so smart. They're goblins. 2, but they really stubborn. So ME of 4, MA of 3, PS 3, PP 3, a lot of averages down the line. Physical endurance is a 4. They're hardy. They get into scrapes. They beat each other up, as well as being bullies to anybody that they can bully. So that's why the PE is a 4 there. Dark vision. Goblins do a lot of cave dwelling and underground things, so they do have a dark vision, but it's limited at 30 feet. Special abilities for the goblin is they have a plus 15% to prowl. They're the sneaky little gits. So that's where they have that comes from. Also, they're really good at stabbing things. So instead of the improvement of the size die for melee or bows like I do for my dwarves and my Gelfkin, what they do is when they crit, it's an extra multiplier. So it's a one-time multiplier. I have every type of crit will stack on each other. So a base crit is 2 times. You add a different multiplier that becomes 3, 4, etc. So their base crit, when they do crit, is going to be 1 times more damage. And then if they get the critical, gives a plus 2 or times 2 or times 3. They're like thieves or assassins. If they come out from behind, then they're able to use that all the time, anytime. And have that times 3 multiplier. So that's really good for them. So now we'll go to the Gobbo-Fairy. So if you wanted to have that cobbler magic, that innate magic to them, then when you're rolling your dice, you can choose anything except for IQ, because I don't like things to get below 2 dice. But you subtract a die from any of the other attributes, and then that's how they developed their mystical aspect. It's one thing that, while I do really like the rolling down the line, I don't like, I guess, the randomness for if you're a cobbler or not, or the Gobbo-Fairy, because I do like people to have some choices in their character creations. So if you choose to be a Gobbo-Fairy, you decide which of these dice you don't roll as many of, you subtract 1. And then if we go up here, they can do things. They can do the shape shifting, like in Palladium, Cobblers, nothing more than 10 pounds. So rats, weasels, ferrets, things like that. Small cats would all work. While in that form, they can speak and they have all their mental attributes. But their physical attributes are that of the animal. So you'd look, say, in your Monsters and Animals book, and that would be their physical strength, physical endurance, and physical prowess. All the other, the IQ, the ME, and MA would be their own. And I have transportation takes an action, so an attack in Palladium parlance. And then the Gobbo-Fairy, when they get 3rd level, they gain mend wood and clay with their plants, sense magic, charm, fairies dance, and darkness. And they don't use magic points. They're an innate type thing. So they can do those twice. Each one can be cast twice per day, and they reset or refresh at sunset, because they're the evil side of fairy. My spritlings, which we'll see later, they're my like good side or light side of the fairy realm. The Gobbo-Faeries are the dark side. So those refresh at sunset. Then, if you want to go for the Hobgoblin, they cannot be Gobbo-Faeries, and they are considered medium. So you have the bigger buffer type Hobgoblin. I just wanted them to be a subspecies. I didn't necessarily want them to be their own separate things and still called Hobgoblins. So that's where they come from. They're medium. They're about human-ish size, a little on the shorter end. IQ of 2, ME of 4. Again, they're just really, it takes a lot to mess with their minds. Mental endurance of a 4. Mental affinity of a 3. They're normal. They are also the ones who kind of lead war bands and stuff, so they have to have some type of charisma to be able to hold the goblins in some type of force. So that is a normal 3. Physical strength, physical prowess, and physical endurance are all 3. Dark vision, they have the same dark vision as the goblins. And then any melee, their other special ability is any melee weapon proficiency skill that's not ranger thrown, so we're looking at melee weapons, is considered a level higher. So at first level, they look at the level 2 chart, line on that chart, and that's what they are. They're just really good at warfare. So that is my Hobgoblin and my Gobbo-Faerie, who's in a rat mouse type form. All of the Gobbo-Faeries and the Hobgoblins are kind of revered in the goblin communities. One doesn't have one isn't like higher of other, or they really like one or don't like the other. They're both considered different. They're genetic offshoots or mystical, non-mystical. The thing is, by going Hobgoblin, you get rid of all your magic. So all Hobgoblins are born without magic proclivity. So they can't choose any magical or intuit occupation. So they are the opposite of the Gobbo-Faeries, who have that innate magical ability. So that's kind of how I did all my goblins and my 2 subspecies of the Gobbo-Faerie and the Hobgoblin. So having said that, once again, I'm William Crafton Jr., aka Zorgal John Less Than Guru, and until next time, I will catch you later.